You ever look at those top students and just wonder, how do they do it? It's not just about being a genius or pulling all-nighters. It's about having a system. So let's get right into it and break down the 7 habits that can completely change your academic game. All right, take a look at this. On one side, high school, a 1.3 GPA. We're talking a D+ average. Ouch. On the other side, university, a perfect 4.0 GPA. And get this, it's the same guy, not 2 different people. This is a real story of a massive turnaround, from the bottom to the absolute top 5% of his class. So how in the world does that happen? Seriously, how do you go from barely passing to the top of your class? Look, it's not some kind of magic trick. It's a method, a system, and that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. And this whole quest for excellence, it didn't start in some fancy library. Nope. It started at a dead-end job, stacking shelves in a supermarket from 9 p.m. to 4 in the morning. And it was right there, in the middle of the night, that he made a decision. If he was going to go to university, he wasn't just going to try. He was going to give it everything. He had to learn how to learn. And, I mean, this wasn't some casual, oh, I'll study a bit more kind of decision. We're talking about 3 years. 3 full years before he even set foot on a university campus, just obsessively studying what the best students do. He dug into their habits, their routines, their mindsets, everything. He wanted to know what made them tick. And what he found, really, comes down to this. The secret sauce wasn't just study harder or pull more all-nighters. No way. The key was building a system of powerful automatic habits. You know, Aristotle was onto this thousands of years ago when he said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence isn't some one-off thing. It's a habit. All right, so let's get into the first set of habits. These are all about creating that deep, intense focus you need for serious academic work. I mean, this is the foundation. If you don't get this right, nothing else really matters. Okay, habit number 1. This one is absolutely critical. It's mastering what's called the flow state. You know that feeling, right? When you're so deep into something, could be a video game, project, anything, that time just melts away. You're completely locked in, just laser focused. That's flow. And here's the thing, top performers don't just hope to find it. They create it on purpose. So what's actually going on here? Well, the psychologist who literally wrote the book on this, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, he called it a state where nothing else seems to matter. And what's wild is that your brain physically changes. That little voice in your head, the one that doubts you and criticizes you, it actually quiets down. You're just doing. It is the absolute peak of productivity. So the big question is, how do you get there on command? Well, you have to train for it. And it starts with these super simple but totally non-negotiable steps. You've got to build a fortress of focus. Find a quiet place. Get rid of all the distractions. And yes, that means your phone. Turn off the notifications. Clear your desk. Seriously, this isn't just about being neat. You're sending a powerful signal to your brain. Okay, it's go time. Okay, so once you have your focus zone, what's next? Habit number 2 is all about building a killer daily routine. See, top performers don't wake up and wonder, what should I do today? They don't leave it to chance. They have a structure that basically automates their success. It kills decision fatigue because you're not wasting brain power deciding what to do, you just do it. And take a look at this. This was the actual routine, 7 days a week. Yeah, it's intense. Waking up at 5 a.m., gym, library class, more library. But the key thing here isn't just the intensity, it's the structure. It all becomes automatic. The routine itself does the heavy lifting for you. All right, so we've got the focus habits down. Now let's switch gears and talk about the internal game, the mindset. This is what separates the good from the great. It's all about what's going on up here before you even crack open a textbook. Habit number 3, surround yourself with greatness. You've probably heard that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, it's absolutely true. Who you hang out with literally shapes what you think is possible for yourself. And man, this quote from Dan Payne just hits you right between the eyes, doesn't it? Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. It's blunt, but it's true. When you're around people who expect a lot from themselves, you can't help but start to raise your own game. But you might be thinking, well, I don't know any super high achievers personally, and that's totally fair. But check this out. You can still surround yourself with greatness. Read biographies, listen to podcasts from the smartest people in their fields, watch documentaries on top athletes. In today's world, there is literally no excuse not to learn from the best mentors on the planet. Okay, this next one, habit 4. Might sound a little fluffy, but trust me, it's a secret weapon. Practicing gratitude. It's a killer antidote to all that negativity and stress that just tanks your motivation. Think about it. It's almost impossible to be anxious or angry when you're actively feeling grateful for something. And there's real science to back this up. Our brains are hardwired with something called a negativity bias. A study at McGill University showed that even when people say they want good news, they can't help but click on the negative headlines. It's a survival thing. We're always scanning for threats. So, a daily gratitude practice, it's like a workout for your brain to consciously fight that default setting. All right, habit number 5 is a big one. It's adopting a growth mindset. So what does that mean? A fixed mindset is when you think, well, I'm just not a math person. You think your talent is fixed. A growth mindset is believing you can get better at anything with hard work and dedication. High performers don't see a tough problem and think, I failed. They think, okay, this is a chance to learn something new. And this isn't just a nice idea. It has a massive real-world impact. Check out this data from the Rich Habit Study. A whopping 88% of wealthy people read for self-development for at least 30 minutes a day. What does that tell you? They never stop learning. They're constantly investing in their own brains. That's a growth mindset in action. Okay, so we've got the foundation of focus. We've got the powerful engine of mindset. Now for the last piece of the puzzle, action. These are the habits that take all that potential and turn it into actual results. And habit 6 is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. It's being willing to pay the price. See, everybody wants the amazing results, right? But very few are willing to make the amazing sacrifices it takes to get there. Success isn't free. It has a price tag. And top performers don't just accept that, they consciously decide what they're willing to pay. So, going back to that 4.0 GPA, what was the price? Well, here it is. Less social life, less time at the gym, less time on side hustles. And this wasn't an accident. These were deliberate choices, conscious trade-offs, all for one single massive goal. Success is a choice, and you have to choose the sacrifice that comes with it. And that brings us to the final habit, number 7, which is like the lighthouse that guides the whole ship. Know exactly what you want. So many people just kind of drift through life because they don't have a clear destination. The goal for that 4.0 wasn't study hard. It was study for at least 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. When you have that kind of insane clarity, every other decision becomes dead simple. So there you have it. Those are the habits. That's the system. But, knowing the system is one thing. Actually doing it is the whole ballgame. So let's wrap this up. That transformation from a 1.3 to a 4.0 GPA, it wasn't luck, it wasn't magic. It was the direct result of this system, mastering focus, building the right mindset, and taking massive, clear action. But look, knowing all this is just the first step. The real question I want to leave you with is this. What do you want? And what are you willing to sacrifice to go out and get?